Let's chat boats. What have you got for us today, Marsh?
Should we do an intro first?
Nah.
If you-
Welcome back.
If you haven't been here before, my name's Marsh. We got Liam over here. We are the
Wizards of Oz.
wizards of boats that reside at CNC Marine. So we talk all things boats, basically. Yep. Plate boats, basically.
Yeah. If you don't know CNC, we design plate boat kits for a lot of different builders across Australia and the galaxy.
In the galaxy, yes.
Yes.
I mean, we are in a shed here, so all of the noise that you may or may not be hearing is because people are doing shit, getting shit done. Anyway, so was just going through and chatting with one of our builders across the galaxy in Oregon, in the US, and asked him what some questions that he might propose to go on the podcast. And so one of the things he mentioned was kind of why are aluminium plate boats so expensive? And I guess that's probably more compared to, in his market, like compared to like fiberglass boats. But I guess here it's like compared to, say, fiberglass, but also to what we'd call like a tinny as well. So Liam, give us a quick synopsis on.
So we're comparing to tinnies or glass?
I guess like if you
I'll
compare
compare
to
to tinnies
tinnies,
first.
fiberglass is probably a little bit different in Australia.
Yeah.
So
But comparing to tinnies, a simple way to go about it is you look at pure weight of the thing. If say raw alley hot work's just completely done or just finished, you compare a 4.5 press boat to a 4.5 meter plate boat. The plate boat's probably going to be 400 kilos heavier, maybe. It depends on the plate used, whereas the press boat is using much thinner material, a lot less structure because they're getting the structure from all the presses in the hull or sides and things like that. So they don't use as much plate. Generally means worse riding just because you don't sit in the water as much, so stability isn't quite as nice. You feel a lot more tinniness and banging because there's a lot more like resonance in the plate. There's a lot less structure. So you'll feel every bang instead of sort of like the structure soaking in the bangs and dissipating with the strength of the hull.
So overall weight, I guess that's just a good indicator of
So you're playing for material there is what
Yeah.
I was getting at. Number two is the way they make press boats. It's a press. So kind of like a die almost comes in, goes, "Kutoof."
Yeah, if you're not seeing that, Liam's crushing his hands together. But yes, like a big tool, big steel tool on the bottom and a big steel tool on the top, and they crush the plate down. What that also does is create weak points or create thinning because they're not adding in different material, they're just stretching out the existing material. So it means on a fold, say it starts as a 1.6 material, it might go down to 1.2.
So that's one thing. Time and labor, every plate, we try and add as many folds as we can for structure as well as to reduce the amount of welding. But at the end of the day, you've got to weld the whole boat together for one of our kits. So you've got to weld every seam, make sure it's all watertight. Everything on underneath the decks is generally all hull seams double continuous. Frames, depending on what level of survey you're going to, might be double continuous or staggered. There's just a lot more man hours involved, I guess.
Yeah, so look, let's go back. I've got here, first one, material cost. One thing that we sort of left out, you got the actual grade of material as well. Like I know a lot of our sort of plate stuff, it's 5083 marine grade, probably DNV certified as well, which we've spoken about on other episodes, versus your pressed, which is likely 5052 or 5005 or like any of those lower grades. Then it's also then thickness, and then we're adding in structure to to give that sort of plate extra structure. You are talking about a very different product, really.
You can't really compare them, I don't think.
No, and that's just on that. And then you've got there that, yeah, they're not even putting any structure into things. It's just plates, and they're sort of pressing, and they're getting a little bit more structure in the plate by folding it. Which, yeah, and then one thing on that, because it's like such a an amount of extra material, and aluminium or aluminum has quite a bit of price volatility as well. So it's just like a lot of weight of material. Then we talked about labor. So press boats, it's a mass production thing. It's like stamping, where sort of your plate boats are all
Craftsmanship.
well, there's craftsmanship, yeah, but it starts out as like flat plate, all router cut. So the cutting takes a lot of time, marking, instructions, whatever. That's sort of, then it's, yeah, somebody actually putting it together and piece by piece, basically. And then, yeah, was that? Then maybe the sort of structure as well. Did I mention that one as well? Yeah.
A few times, yeah.
Yeah. Structure.
But I guess the differences are like, why would you go for a press boat over a plate boat?
Yeah,
and
look.
why should you go for a plate boat over a press boat?
Yeah, and I think we've discussed this before as well, where it's like, well, they all have their place. You got like a press boat's great in staying in river estuary sort of style, especially on those smaller, lower boats as well.
Where you don't need all the stability that you kind of get out of a heavy boat, basically.
Yeah, you're not going to hit any kind of swell or rough conditions. There's also a longevity of the product. So I know, like, because of the thinner material, there's like on the joins, and they're sort of moving through like welds quicker, sometimes even say like robot welding, or so they tend to crack and need repairs a lot quicker. So there's a lot more sort of maintenance that needs to happen on those.
It's much thinner material as well. So you're trying to weld on like you were saying, a 1.5 mil plate.
Yeah.
Instead of 6 potentially on some of our bigger boats. So yeah, if you're getting full penetration on a 6 mil plate going into another 6 mil plate, it's an awful lot of plate that needs to, or an awful lot of weld that needs to fail in order to have a crack or a pinhole or something like that.
Yeah. Let's bring into, so one thing with the sort of US market, fiberglass boats, and just the same, like looking at those as well. And now I want to say the biggest difference between, say, a plate, and I'm going to include fiberglass in this, so fiberglass and tinnies, is that with plate, every single boat can be different. We're cutting it out. We're just cutting out a kit of parts. No one boat, generally every boat that we send out of here is different. Like, we rarely send the same boat twice, even if it's like small modifications and everything. But that's the same build process, same build time, no matter what. Where, say, a press boat, that tool might cost you $500,000 to do the tool. So you've got to make a hell of a lot of boats in exactly the same method before you can make your money back, and you just can't change it. Fiberglass is the same. It's a tool, it's a big sort of mold, they lay it up into the mold and then they pull it out of the mold, and generally there'll be like maybe 5 or 6 molds that'll make up a boat before they might do a little bit of, if they're doing customization, it's like hand building stuff. Now there's a bit of an art form there, but it's like it's a lot more labor. So that's why harder to customize a fiberglass boat. But that is one of the reasons why fiberglass boats might be cheaper in, say, the States or even here, is because they're just pulling out the same boat out of a mold again and again and again. Where plate boats, everything's custom, everything's different. Even if they're doing the same one and again, like, it's
generally still done by hand as well.
Yeah, it's still done by hand. Yeah. You get the love put into it.
Exactly. I guess to add on to that, you've got the weight of a fiberglass boat compared to a plate boat. Generally, a fiberglass boat will be a little bit heavier.
Oh, yeah.
Of the same size. So the way we look at it is you get the strength of a plate boat you kind of sacrifice a little bit of that additional weight so you can tow the bloody thing.
Yeah.
And then you can have a 8-9 meter plate boat and still drive it with a normal car, or still trailer it with a normal car that
Yeah.
isn't a big whopper of a truck, a
Yes.
prime mover.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that's the big thing, especially in Australia, big distances. And yeah, we like to drive
We
those
like to
distances.
fish in multiple different places. It's not
Yes.
just one spot.
Yeah.
Everyone likes to go on a trip and
Yeah.
fish out in, I don't know, 1770 or something like that, or go down
Yeah.
south, and everyone's got trips planned somewhere, basically.
Yeah, and you don't really want to drive the boat there. Yeah. So,
It'd take you 3 years.
yep. Cool.
Next.
Okay. Next. Yeah.
Do you feel like we answered that?
I think so. I got a couple other things here. I guess one thing, so going back to say cost, like when you look at that, like the aluminium cost of it, yes, there's some expense, like there's obviously more expense and stuff and labor in that, but that probably doesn't even factor in all of it. I think just if we talk about fit out and talk about like, well, what fit out between a tinny and a plate boat, and like what those things, what's required, and so some of that sort of stuff. And then I think we already talked about like scale and production a little bit there. So yeah, what's your thoughts on like the fit out side of things?
I think purely based off like market value, a lot of people are putting a less hectic like fit out in a tinny than they are going to do in a plate boat. Because one, resale's not quite as there as they're like for tinnies compared to plate boats. I'd probably put like higher end glass boats at the same level as a plate boat, like people doing through-hole transducers and all that sort of jazz. Like people go pretty wild with it.
Yeah.
But it depends on the person.
It's a good like analogy. Like if you could buy a, I don't know, like a Suzuki Swift versus a I don't know, Audi R8 or whatever, and say putting $5,000 rims on an R8, you'd be like, oh yeah, I could spend 10 kind of thing. Putting $5,000 rims on a Suzuki Swift, you're like, yeah, that's way too much.
Yeah,
it's more than the car's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
For sure.
yeah.
Do definitely have people do that, and even some of our boats though. Like you
Yeah.
can go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on electronics if you really want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know our sort of recent demo boat, we got a new sort of 4810 BA built by Mezcal Fab in Newcastle, and they're we spec'd it up pretty high, just kind of as high as we were willing to go on that kind of thing. Yeah, sticker price I reckon would be about like 120 for. I mean, it's a big 4.8 boat, but yeah, you can
Sick.
spend a lot. Can't wait to actually use it.
Yeah, when are we going to get it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been months sitting out the front of Luke's house at the moment. I think he's enjoying it.
Bastard.
Don't worry, I'll go get it at some point. Anyway, yeah. I guess that kind of sort of covers it. I'm sure there's more.
Yeah, I feel like that sort of covers it.
Yeah, I guess like just on that fit out, it's like electronics, but also like floor coverings. Like on a tinny, you might have a ply floor with carpet.
yeah.
That you're gonna have a full alley floor in a plate boat with, say, like U-deck or
checker plate, which adds cost.
Yeah, so there's like all this extra stuff, and it just kind of like adds everywhere. I think the bottom line though is that you can get a much cheaper plate boat and just have it as a raw package and be getting out on the water. We've said it time and again. And then you can add stuff to it in the future. So add all your electronics and everything in the future. You don't have to spend it all at once.
No.
How about it's been a couple of weeks since we've chatted. So I thought I'd sort of go through some of the updates of the office and what we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you open up to me, Liam. What have you been doing?
A lot of design has been going on, to be honest, as you'd expect.
Interesting.
We are literally a design office, but
Yes.
we're about to send out, or we have sent out, probably 3 of the 4 boats about to head down to Mezcal Fab. We've got a few bigger ones, or one bigger one that's just started at Marine, an 84 HT.
Yep.
So that'll, by the time this goes out, they'll probably be finished. To be honest, the way that they get through stuff. Um, Blue Dog Boats has got plenty on the go. Been doing a few for him. One big one, couple 8 meters, and an 84. They're going through the build of at the moment. 84s are becoming a hot hit at the
Yeah, it
moment,
must
I
be a
think.
good site. Like,
Yeah, it's a big boat.
It's a big boat, but is it like kind of? Because I know always the 65s have always done well, and I thought that was always because it's kind of like biggest boat you can comfortably tow with a Hilux. Is it now that we have all of these American trucks coming in, like the Tundras and Rams, and that now it's like, well, the biggest boat that we can tow is somewhat bigger.
Yeah.
So,
Let's just get a bigger one.
yeah. It's funny that it's like the max boat size is based on what you can actually pull around. There you go. So I guess on that, yeah, so a couple of the ranges, I thought it'd like be a little bit more specific. And you mentioned there was a walkthrough range. So we now have that was a hot topic of what we call this thing, but
We did argue for a good 12 minutes, I think.
yeah, healthy argument.
Yeah, we love a good argument. So.
Yeah, and so Liam's just finished a 5.8, what we call a walkthrough cabin. So cabin goes right out to the side of the boat. It's kind of like a midships cabin. So you've still got your aft decks. You actually step down a little bit into this cabin to keep it like a little bit lower. And then you step back up at the front and you've got like your bow rider sort of style section
Cheese
at
and
the
Bicky
front.
section.
Yeah, so but it's kind of segmented so you could have like a full enclosed cab.
I'd be intrigued to see how it goes to fish a bunch of people. Because you could have 2 people on the aft decks, like if you've got casting cages, 2 people in the cockpit deck, and then 2 people up forward.
Yeah,
So you're fishing
comfy.
6 people.
Especially on like a 5.8.
Yeah. It's not that big of a boat.
No.
But to fish 6 people, that's like max ABP is 6 people.
Yeah.
And if you're fishing all those 6 people in nice spaces, it's pretty bloody cool.
Yeah. Also, I feel like it'd be a really nice family boat as well. Like decent sized cabin that you can completely seal off. Or, I mean, even a boat that's built sort of for like cold weather areas where you can get around and be completely enclosed.
Have
Or
a
you can
diesel heater inside and
take it out on a bad day and like, I mean, it's still like a solid offshore hull, but you can you're also sitting a bit lower in that cabin. So maybe feel a little bit more like safe as well.
it is pretty cool. The original design came from Sydney Harbour, I guess.
Yeah.
The desire to have a commuter for the first client to get to work, basically.
Yeah,
and
almost
commute
like
around
a
there.
ute of the bay.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It is a pretty bloody cool ute, though.
Yeah. I would love to do it in a slightly bigger variant, but I guess on that note, now that we have that one, anybody that wants other sizes, this is your opportunity while we're still kind of going through and
I reckon
doing
even like a soft top version.
oh yeah,
Or pretty much like clears instead of the full enclosed cab.
Yeah.
And even going a little bit smaller
yeah.
and having like open top, but I don't know, it's going to work. It's just a bow rider then.
Yeah, it's true. No, I think going like, I wouldn't mind doing some other sizes. I know I was chatting to somebody in Switzerland. No, not Switzerland, Sweden the other day about it and talking about doing like a slightly longer version, which would be cool. But yeah, right now this is the time whenever we do sort of new ranges of stuff, get in early because then you can kind of put your own pizzazz into what we're doing for you if you want something. So yeah, that was a good one. One of the other boats I know Luke is actually building now is sort of the landing crafts, the fast landing crafts. We've done a couple in the past. We've done a few of their 12 meters up at BTB Marine, and
Done a bunch of like those normal, slower style, like the big capacity landing crafts.
yeah,
Like 11LC, where it's like a V-nose punt style hull.
yeah, I know.
yeah.
I feel like every builder's built one recently.
Been a few.
Yeah, like
Rays are doing one right now. Mezcal just finished one for Ironside Marine.
yeah, Iron Submarine. They've just been testing that. I saw a video this morning testing like
Yeah.
a fuel barge, which would be that'll be a cool one for the Gold Coast. Yeah, but then so this is the fast one. So this is you can still like power around at 40 knots and have all your motorbike strapped down to the front and then pull up on an island or whatever, or just fish out of it and use it as an offshore vessel. But then during the week, put all your work gear on it to facilitate like working on like I know some of these sort of like island houses and stuff like that. So very cool.
They are very cool. It's I almost said Canada.
Yeah,
I feel.
Canadian style. Yeah, like
Yeah.
get somewhere fast, but like obviously lots of like big island networks.
Yeah.
Once again, different sizes come at us. Like, what sizes should we do? I reckon 6.5 would be cool. But
I think that it's all like payload dependent. If you get too small, it becomes like, what are you really putting on there?
yeah,
Like I'd probably say for like you could go down to a 5.5 if you're just putting motorbikes or something like that on there.
oh yeah,
But like if you really want, like this 7.5 had a what was it, a C, not a Sea-Doo,
yeah, Can-Am.
Can-Am,
Yeah, the
like
buggies.
big ATV looking thing,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
is sick. Like imagine going to Morton or Stratty and just like going over on your boat and you just roll off your Can-Am and just go hoof it up the beach.
Have like a pack and some stuff in the back, hoof it up the beach, go camp somewhere for the night.
The cabin's big enough, you just sleep in the cabin.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have like nice double bed in there. Likely.
Exactly. Plenty of room for activities.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a few other things. I know we're just finishing off some more of our MX range. We've got Jonas working through a 6 meter by 2.5 and 6.5 by 2.5 pontoon style like crafts. So there's like barbecue boats, and we've sort of gone right through those details, offering that in a single engine or dual engine setup, which would be cool. Probably perfect for your sort of like hire boats or just being out in the water. I know when I was in Perth last week, in Mandurah last week, sorry, and just walking along some of those like back canals, and there was so many of these little barbecue boats everywhere, but they just look rough as hell. So I think they might do really well in that sort of area as well.
People looking to spruce up their business a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's, from what I've heard from Pete's one, it came like the hulls and things like that come together very quickly. It's just what you want to do topsides. That can add a little bit of time if you add such fruit that Pete did.
Yeah. That's ongoing for him. We'll do a video of that one eventually. I think he was saying it's getting pretty close. He was up in the power rating, so up in the power. I think he had twin 90s. He's just gone to twin 140s, but it's a 12.5 meter boat, so there's a lot of weight on it as well. Trailers. I mean, we've done trailers for everything now. We're good to go. Trailers are well and truly ready to go for everything. So, yeah. Anything else? There's so much.
There is. I feel like it always like someone's like, "What have you been working on?" I'm like, "Fuck, I feel like I work on 12 different things a day."
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
All good. All right. Well, yeah. Cool.
Shall we leave them with something fruity?
Yeah. Like what?
I don't know, an apple.
So next episode, we were looking at. It's another sort of question from Troy at Torchcraft, and look, this is from a builder. So obviously we're dealing with DIYers all the time, so we've probably got a bit of an interesting view, like a middleman view of it. But you've got a DIY build versus going to a builder, and like, I mean, is it actually cheaper to do it yourself, or that's the question. So,
I guess it comes down to how you value your time.
Well,
We'll find out next week.
There's a bit more to it, but yeah, let's find out next week. Or if you've been lazy and haven't caught up on episodes yet, just hit next.
Yeah, and you just listen to us before you go to bed.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. I have
Sleep
Liam's
well.
voice in my head just for me to go to sleep, but it's just him doing like a little singing. Give us a little song.
No. You'll hear my voice next
So we'll
episode.
cut in a little snippet of Liam
We
singing
should
in
make
there.
it seem like I'm like singing in the office all the time or something.
Oh yeah. Every time you sit in front of a microphone.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It just comes out.
Yeah.
I just remember naughty nights on the piss, and then I go start singing.
No.
Anyway.
All right. See you
guys
guys.
next time.
See ya.